We are going to talk about a really important theory in psychology that has many practical uses in your everyday life as well. Attachment theory was constructed by James Bowlby and mentions as the main principle that the way people behave in their romantic relationships as adults has to do with the proximity they had as children with their main caregiver. The main tenet is that young children need to develop a close relationship with at least one person that takes care of them for normal social and emotional development. By the end of this video you will have learned what your attachment style is out of 4 possible ones and what that means about your romantic life. Leave a like and let's get straight to the main part. A young child that has developed a secure attachment style with his parent will explore freely the environment where they are there, will engage with strangers without being anxious or fearful, and will be visibly upset when the parent departs. A secure attachment style is developed when the main caregiver responds always or almost always to the child's needs. If your parents were able to be there for you and had the opportunity and or ability to feed you every time you cried as a baby and you wanted to eat, or to reassure you every time you were sad or anxious, you most probably belong in this category. What does that mean about your personal life though? Adults with this kind of bond appear to be more likely to explore life without the fear of failure. They are on average less anxious and less panicky, they approach life as a challenge, and they have a huge appetite of conquering every goal. In most cases they are more skillful at tackling difficult situations. They show a high level of concern for others, they are mostly calm, and in general they keep a sense of self-efficacy and self-confidence at all times. That translates to their romantic life as well. They want to be in a relationship most often than not, they are excellent at resolving conflict and they are good at confrontation. They avoid manipulation at all costs and they want to find a partner to live the rest of their lives with. They are more likely to be great parents and spouses and they care for the person they have next to them. They seem to avoid one-night stands and relationships without deeper meaning. Without a doubt, the secure attachment style is the healthiest one to belong in. The only problem with this kind of bond is the fact that secure people avoid others that do not share the same characteristics. For example, if they believe that their partner doesn't show the same attention or care they do, they immediately decide to end the relationship. Anxious-ambivalent is a form of insecure attachment style and can be also misnamed as insecure attachment. Children with this style are often wary of strangers, even if the parents are present. When the parent leaves, those children always cry or scream, but they are ambivalent when the parent returns. This is a way to show to the caregiver their anger and a strategy to take control over the relationship. Unfortunately, people who have experienced abusive childhood develop this kind of attachment style. Anxious, preoccupied adults seek high levels of intimacy, approval, and responsiveness from partners, becoming overly dependent. They tend to be less trusting, have less positive views about themselves than their partners, and may exhibit high levels of emotional expressiveness, worry, and impulsiveness in their relationships. The anxiety that adults feel prevents the establishment of satisfactory defense exclusion. Thus, it is possible that individuals that have been anxiously attached to their attachment figure or figures have not been able to develop sufficient defenses against separation anxiety. Because of their lack of preparation, these individuals will often overreact to the anticipation of separation or the actual separation from their attachment figure. The anxiety comes from an individual's intense and/or unstable relationship that leaves the anxious or preoccupied individual relatively defenseless. Infants with this kind of bond will most often than not ignore the caregiver altogether and will show emotion when the caregiver departs. This does not mean that they do not care about their parents, but it's a way of masking the distress they are feeling. Children develop this attachment style when their caregiver is consistently unresponsive to their needs. A child cries when needs something. Because infants are not yet adults, they are in need of others to bring them what they want. If a child cries and the need is never getting satisfied, then it develops this kind of style, which is characterized by large level of stress and avoidance of people in general. The adults with this attachment style appear to be highly dependent, like they do not need anyone on anything, and at points they avoid romantic relationships as well, like it is a problem for them or their success. They tend to suppress their feelings, dealing with conflict by distancing themselves from partners of whom they often have a poor opinion. Adults lack the interest of forming close relationships and maintaining emotional closeness with the people around them. They have a great amount of distrust in others, but at the same time possess a positive model of self. They would prefer to invest in their own ego skills. They try to create high levels of self-esteem by investing disproportionately in their abilities or accomplishments. These adults maintain their positive views of self based on their personal achievements and competence rather than searching for and feeling acceptance from others. Those adults reject the importance of romantic relationships and believe that developing themselves or their skill sets is of course more important. They can't trust other people and they often have negative views on others and their capabilities. Everything that I described is there to mask the fact that they are afraid that if they approach someone, they will reject them, just like their parents did. Often, people who belong in this category seem to enjoy making other people fall in love with them and playing with their feelings, after denying that they were flirting with them in the first place. They fear intimacy. Disorganized, disoriented. This attachment system is expected to be activated by the departure and return of the caregiver. If the behavior of the infant doesn't appear to be the observer or to be coordinated in a smooth way across episodes to achieve either proximity or some relative proximity with the caregiver, then it is considered disorganized as it indicates a disruption or flooding of the attachment system. It was found that most of the mothers of these children had suffered major losses or other trauma shortly before or after the birth of the infant and had reacted by becoming severely depressed. This is the characteristic that seems to push infants to belonging in this category, which according to many scientists is the worst to be in. Adults who belong in this category are fearful and avoidant. They really want to be into a relationship. They crave intimacy and love, but when they come close to forming one, they start being anxious and avoiding the circumstances. The dangerous part about the contrast between wanting to form social relationships while simultaneously fearing the relationship is that it creates mental instability. This mental instability then translates into mistrusting the relationships they do form and also viewing themselves as unworthy, unlike people who belong in the previous category. According to research studies, an individual with a fearful avoidant attachment might have had childhood trauma or persistently negative perceptions and actions from their family members. Apart from these, genetic factors and personality may also have an impact on how an individual behaves with parents as well as how they understand the relationships in their adulthood. Those people unfortunately suppress their feelings and are silly or end with a small social circle of friends for a long time. You reached the end of the video successfully. If you learned something, please consider liking it and subscribe to become a member of our small family. Write down in the comment section in which category you think you belong in and why. I was Cedru from Just Psychology, and until the next one, I am indeed out. Wishing you all the best. Bye.